Guitarist Ace Frehley, one of the founding members of the rock group Kiss, has died. He was 74.
The world of rock music recently lost one of its brightest stars, Ace Frehley, the legendary guitarist of Kiss, whose iconic riffs and stage presence defined an era. While fans mourned his passing, the story that has captured the attention of music lovers worldwide is not just about his death, but about his final words to bandmate Peter Criss. What Ace said in those last moments has left Peter, fans, and the rock community deeply emotional, offering a glimpse into the human side of a legendary rock star. Ace Frehley's life was as dramatic and larger than life as the music he created. From sold-out arenas to moments of personal struggle, he lived the highs and lows that come with fame. Yet even in his final moments, Ace's connection with those closest to him, especially his fellow Kiss members, remained profound. Peter Criss recently shared that the words Ace spoke were simple, yet filled with emotion, revealing vulnerability, gratitude, and an unspoken bond forged over decades of music, friendship, and shared history. Fans have expressed shock, sadness, and even disbelief as details emerged. The words, delivered quietly but meaningfully, reflect the essence of Ace Frehley, a man who, despite fame-related chaos, and personal struggles, never lost sight of the relationships that truly mattered. For Peter Criss, hearing these final words was a moment of both heartbreak and reverence, a reminder of the deep human connections behind the legendary personas that fans idolized for decades. This revelation goes beyond just celebrity news. It touches on themes of friendship, mortality, and the bittersweet reality of life in the spotlight. Ace Frehley's final communication serves as a poignant reminder that even the greatest stars have their tender, private moments, and that these moments often carry far more weight than the millions of fans who celebrated their music could ever imagine. Ace Frehley and Peter Criss weren't just bandmates. They were two friends whose paths converged in a way that would change the world of rock music forever. Both born in New York City, they grew up in working-class neighborhoods where music was an escape, a form of expression, and ultimately, a calling. Ace was drawn to guitar at a young age, his fingers finding melodies that would later electrify arenas, while Peter developed a passion for drums, blending rhythm with attitude and a sense of showmanship. Their shared love for music and similar ambitions laid the foundation for a connection that would define their careers. The formation of Kiss in the early 1970s was a turning point, not just for the music industry, but for both Ace and Peter personally. They joined forces with Paul Stanley and Gene Simmons, bringing a combination of talent, charisma, and theatrical flair that would make Kiss a household name. Ace's distinctive guitar style, coupled with Peter's energetic drumming and magnetic stage presence, created a dynamic that fans couldn't get enough of. Their friendship, tested by the pressures of fame and the intensity of life on the road, remained a core part of the band's chemistry, often shining through in performances, interviews, and behind-the-scenes moments. Life in Kiss was far from easy. The band's meteoric rise brought with it the stress of constant touring, recording, and maintaining a public image. Fame exposed Ace and Peter to temptations, personal struggles, and the sometimes harsh realities of the music industry. Yet, despite disagreements, creative tensions, and periods of distance, their bond endured. Both men understood the sacrifices required to achieve greatness and the unspoken language of friendship forged through shared experiences. From late-night jam sessions to sold-out concerts in arenas across the globe. Over the years, Ace and Peter's contributions to Kiss were immortalized in albums, live performances, and iconic moments that shaped rock history. Ace's spaceman persona and revolutionary guitar solos, alongside Peter's Catman identity and dynamic drumming, created a perfect balance of talent and personality. Fans not only admired their music, but also became invested in the stories behind the band, the camaraderie, the conflicts, and the moments of solidarity that revealed the human side of rock legends. Even as Kiss faced lineup changes, solo projects, and personal struggles, Ace and Peter remained intertwined in the narrative of the band. Their history together, both on stage and off, reflected a deep connection that transcended fame. The bond they shared was more than professional. It was a testament to years of shared passion, loyalty, and respect. And it is this very bond that made Ace Frehley's final words to Peter Criss all the more poignant, capturing the enduring friendship that defined a legendary chapter in rock music. As Ace Frehley's fame endured, so too did the personal struggles that often accompany life in the spotlight. The guitarist's life was marked by a combination of extraordinary success and intense challenges. Years of relentless touring, the pressures of maintaining a public image, and the rock and roll lifestyle took a toll on both his physical health and emotional well-being. Peter Criss, who had shared decades of music, friendship, and life with Ace, witnessed these struggles up close, offering insight into the man behind the persona of the spaceman. Peter recalls that Ace's passion for music never waned, even as health and personal issues became more pronounced. The legendary guitarist faced battles with addiction, injuries, and the natural wear of decades on the road, yet he remained dedicated to his craft. For those close to him, these challenges highlighted the human vulnerability of someone whose larger-than-life stage persona often concealed personal pain. Peter's perspective was shaped by years of first-hand experience, giving him a deep understanding of Ace's strengths, fears, and resilience. In the months leading up to his passing, Ace's health reportedly began to decline more noticeably. Friends, family, and former bandmates became increasingly concerned about his well-being. Peter, in particular, stayed connected, offering support, advice, and companionship when possible. Their bond, forged through decades of collaboration, personal highs, and shared struggles, proved to be a source of comfort for both men. Ace's openness during these final months, combined with Peter's loyalty, allowed for moments of honesty, reflection, and emotional connection that transcended the typical dynamics of fame and performance. The final days of Ace Frehley's life were marked by a quiet gravity. Peter has shared that their last conversations were filled with sincerity, humor, and a profound sense of camaraderie. Even in the face of mortality, Ace remained the musician and friend who had touched the lives of millions. His words to Peter were a mixture of gratitude, farewell, and reflection, simple, yet laden with the weight of years spent side by side in the world of rock music. It was a reminder that beneath the makeup, the stage lights, and the legendary persona was a man capable of deep emotion and connection. For fans, understanding this dynamic adds a layer of poignancy to Ace Frehley's story. The guitarist was not just a rock icon, but a friend, mentor, and confidant. Peter Criss's recollections of these final interactions allow audiences to see the human side of Ace, the vulnerability, the sincerity, and the enduring bonds that shaped his life beyond the music. It is a perspective rarely captured in headlines or biographies, yet it is central to understanding the legacy of the spaceman and the profound friendship that defined his years with Kiss. Ultimately, Ace Frehley's struggles and his final conversations with Peter highlight the duality of a life lived in the spotlight. Immense talent and fame paired with human fragility and the need for meaningful connections. These moments underscore that even for rock legends, the deepest impact is often found in personal relationships, shared memories, and the quiet words exchanged when the world is watching. The final moments of Ace Frehley's life were as quietly profound as they were heart-wrenching. Surrounded by close friends and family, the legendary guitarist faced the end with a mix of calm acceptance and reflection on a life defined by music, passion, and the bonds he had forged along the way. For Peter Criss, being present and receiving Ace's last words was an emotional experience that underscored the depth of their decades-long friendship. Peter recalls that Ace's final words were simple yet meaningful. There was no grand farewell, no dramatic flourish, just honesty and a quiet acknowledgement of the life they had shared. These words, filled with gratitude, respect, and unspoken love, left Peter deeply moved. For someone who had shared the stage with Ace for decades, these final moments were more than just personal. They were emblematic of the enduring connection that had survived fame, conflict, and the pressures of life in the public eye. Friends and those close to the band have emphasized that Ace's final communication reflected his character. Even in his last hours, he was thoughtful, sincere, and aware of the impact of his words. For Peter, This moment became a mixture of sorrow and appreciation. Sorrow for the loss of a lifelong friend and bandmate, but appreciation for the chance to hear Ace's heartfelt message. It was a reminder that beneath the persona of the spaceman was a human being capable of profound emotion and deep connection. The reaction from Peter was immediate and deeply personal. In private conversations with mutual friends, he described a sense of both heartbreak and closure. Hearing Ace's words allowed him to process grief in a way that was meaningful, turning a moment of sadness into one of reflection and remembrance. These exchanges have since become a point of reference for fans and musicians alike, highlighting the human side of rock legends whose public lives are often larger than life. Public reaction to the revelation of Ace's final words has been immense. Fans across the world have expressed empathy, admiration, and sorrow, understanding that even the most iconic figures in music experience vulnerability, mortality, and profound emotional bonds. Social media is filled with tributes not just to Ace's musical genius, but also to his humanity, as reflected in the simple yet moving words he shared with Peter. These personal details remind audiences that behind the makeup, pyrotechnics, and stadium performances was a man whose life touched those closest to him in deeply personal ways. Ace Frehley's final moments, and the words he left with Peter Criss, emphasize the enduring power of friendship and the human connections that define a life well lived. For Peter, the loss is immeasurable, but the memory of Ace's sincerity and their shared history serves as a lasting testament to a bond forged through music, loyalty, and the challenges and triumphs of decades spent together. Ultimately, this chapter of Ace Frehley's story is not only about his passing, but also about the profound significance of relationships, trust, and the quiet, meaningful gestures that linger long after the lights of the stage have dimmed. Ace Frehley's passing marked the end of an era in rock music, but his legacy is far more than the riffs, solos, and iconic stage presence that made him a legend. His influence resonates through generations of musicians, fans, and even his bandmates, especially Peter Criss. The guitarist's life and final words serve as a powerful reminder of friendship, loyalty, and the human side of fame, lessons that extend beyond music and into the universal experience of connection, loss, and remembrance. For Peter Criss, Ace's death has been both heartbreaking and transformative. The experience has deepened his appreciation for the bond they shared over decades of performing, creating, and surviving the highs and lows of rock stardom. Peter has openly reflected on how Ace's music, humor, and unwavering authenticity shaped not only Kiss, but also his own perspective on life and artistry. In interviews, he emphasizes that the personal connection, the trust, and the final exchange of heartfelt words are as significant as any career milestone. These memories become a form of legacy that no album, concert, or award can fully capture. Fans, too, have been affected by Ace's final chapter. Social media and news outlets have been flooded with tributes, stories, and shared experiences, highlighting the profound impact of his life and music. His words to Peter serve as a poignant reminder that even rock legends, often seen as untouchable or larger than life, are human, capable of vulnerability, reflection, and deep emotional bonds. For many, this adds a layer of relatability, reminding fans that music is not only about entertainment, but also about connection, emotion, and shared human experiences. Ace's influence on Peter Criss is particularly significant because it transcends professional collaboration. It represents a lifelong friendship, a mutual understanding forged in the crucible of fame, personal struggles, and artistic ambition. The final conversation between them illustrates how even amidst the chaos of a legendary career, moments of honesty, gratitude, and connection can define a legacy more profoundly than any public accolade. Peter continues to honor this bond by sharing stories, preserving Ace's memory, and reflecting on the lessons learned from their shared journey. The lessons from Ace Frehley's life are clear. Fame and talent do not shield anyone from life's struggles. But the relationships we cultivate, the authenticity we maintain, and the kindness we show can leave a lasting imprint. Ace's final words to Peter exemplify the power of human connection and the importance of cherishing the moments that matter most. These lessons extend to fans and aspiring musicians, reminding them that true impact is measured not just in professional achievements, but in the lives touched, the friendships nurtured, and the love expressed along the way. Ultimately, Ace Frehley's story, from his early days with Peter Criss to his final words, is a testament to resilience, friendship, and the enduring influence of a life lived with passion. While the world mourns his passing, the memories, music, and emotional connections he leaves behind ensure that his legacy will endure. For Peter Criss, for fans, and for the broader world of rock music, Ace Frehley remains more than a guitar icon. He is a symbol of loyalty, humanity, and the timeless power of friendship.